Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Elite Real Estate Podcast on this fabulous Friday morning. One more time, 7:30 Eastern Time. Coming at you on KGCI Radio, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all the places you can find us, live streaming. And if you're listening to us later, you can always download us anywhere you find podcasts. So, again, live KGCI Radio. Thanks for having us again this morning. And we are live with a couple special guests that I'm going to bring in here in a second. And again, very, very happy to say that we can have these guests come in, and technology is amazing and all those things. So I'm going to welcome in Geoff Cavender and Heather Sanders. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. And super excited that you guys were able to join me this morning from Indiana, right?
Yep.
Here, we'll find the applause button that I need there. A little applause from Indiana. Oh man. So Geoff, you and I have talked. Heather, we haven't had a chance to meet face to face. But that'll happen soon enough. But Geoff, you and I have talked a lot about different things and trying to get you on the show, and now you're here, my man. So talk to me. Tell me what's going on down there in Indiana. Where are you at with your business right now? What's going on with all that stuff?
Yeah, so I think it's a 4-hour trip for us to make it up to Detroit when we come up there. We opened up a EXP office in Warsaw, Indiana, and we've expanded our team to just about 20 agents we're kind of calling it like all of Northern Indiana. And we're branching out all the way from like Fort Wayne to all the way like down to Warsaw and to South Bend. And Heather is like our top agent on the team. She's been with us pretty much the whole time. So we're just experiencing a lot of growth right now.
I love it, man. That's so good. And you started. So how long have you been with EXP now?
April made 2 full years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and so you and I met via Austin Chevron, right?
Yep.
And Austin's a great connector and really good down there. So, and Heather, how long have you been in the business?
In the business, almost 10 years. I've been with EXP the same amount of time. I came over with Geoff.
Got it. And you guys, man, I've been watching what you guys are doing via social media, and you guys are rocking and rolling down there in Indiana. What's the market like down there?
Honestly, it's great. I mean, we have the opportunity to have such large cities and different industries all together. So we have all the lakes that we have all the different industries. We have the I think Geoff worked in one of them before he got into real estate. So if Geoff, you want to explain that, why we were able to do so much down here.
Yeah, in our area, it's called the orthopedic capital of the world. So like if you've ever gotten a knee, hip replacement, stuff like that, more than likely it came from our area. And so it's a very strong job industry. So we kind of have this bubble when, national news is saying recession and housing decline. We don't see it here because our people are getting paid $30-$40 an hour to just like your normal people. So our average income's pretty high here and the stability of the jobs. But then, yeah, like Heather said, we have lakes here. So we've had like $3 million sales, and then we have $50,000 sales. Like we cover everything. And like our markets, since after spring break's heated up so much that we're back in the bidding wars now again.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've had both knees replaced. So maybe my knees are from Indiana.
It could be more likely.
It's amazing. And then so it's about 4 hours for you guys. So are you guys on the other side of Indianapolis then?
North.
You're north of Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. So and again, we're kind of facing the same thing here in the market, right? We're kind of getting back into some bidding wars. We're seeing and again, it's these people who say they want to hold off until the market crashes. I'm like, guys, that's not happening anytime soon. Are you guys hearing that a lot?
I think I've heard people say that for 6 years or so.
Yeah,
there is one thing that I heard just the other day from a lender that was the first. Like normally we always hear that I want to wait for the market to crash, and I never have faith in it, especially in our area. But what this lender said was that, like, and I don't know if you've seen it, but conventional loans and the conventional appraisers have started to flag and like get way stricter on things that conventional loans usually didn't. And they're selling to Franny and Freddie. And so he called me up with something that this conventional appraiser flagged. And he said, hey, I'm wondering if they see something coming down the road that we don't see. And Franny and Freddie don't want to get stuck with certain loans, certain houses, stuff like that, that's coming down the line. That's the first time anybody said anything that made me feel like, is there something coming? But I still believe in it.
Yeah, I do too. And Heather, you've been in it for how long? Did you say you've been like 10 years, right?
Yeah, just under 10 years.
Yeah. So and everybody, for 10 years, everybody has said this, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm thinking, why does everybody want the market to crash? Like, what?
Well, if you think about it, even if the market's low, people are still buying and selling houses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no matter what the market is, there's going to be somebody that needs our help.
Yeah. There's always a shift, right? And I think that's one of the things that we as realtors have to understand, that there's always going to be a shift in the market. And whether that's rates or whether that's, whatever's happening, we have to just move with it, And so what's been your guys' and Geoff, I'll let you go first, but like, what's been your biggest success story? Like, is it your systems? Is it your processes? Like, is it the onboard? Like, what is the biggest thing that you have seen your team take off with this trajectory?
Well, honestly, Heather's probably our biggest like success story, because she was an experienced agent, came into the systems and everything, and she was doing around like $1 million to $2 million a year when she came to our team, and last year did 10 million and is on pace this year for like what, 12, 14 million.
14. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it's one thing to bring on like brand new agents, but when you get an experienced agent, usually they're kind of like stuck in their ways and they're not adapting to your systems, taking your leads, whatever. But Heather was experienced and 10x'd her business by plugging into our leads and our systems. We do Shep Black coaching. I don't know if you know Shep Black, but that provides a lot. So we're providing follow-up boss, multiple trainings a week for all of our agents. And that's really where the onboarding side and the growth has taken off. Yes, that's all we're doing, is buying a ton of leads and helping agents plug into them.
It's incredible. And Heather, what about you? Since your business is 10x since you've been with Geoff, right?
Yeah, it really has. I always knew that if I got in front of a lot of people that I'd be able to sell houses. I'd have, as many people as I can get in front of. Obviously, the chances are better, but my conversion rates are pretty high. So I really needed to be on somebody's team that gave me that opportunity, that had listings and open house opportunities, leads help too, referrals, and working and networking with other agents to get those referrals as well. So it's been a kind of all those things that have helped. And then being an agent, as far as sales go, being an agent that calls people back, answers their phone, texts back, even if I'm busy, hey, I'll call you in an hour, but everybody knows they can always get a hold of me. And I'm not going to ghost anybody.
The crazy part is you said being an agent that just calls people back.
Yep. It's as easy as that. Even with other agents, you just have to communicate. It's a huge thing. Yeah.
And the funny part is, like, as being a leader in the industry, right? Like, and as we all are, and talking to other people and other agents, it's kind of like the standard should be like, just call people back.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Right?
It's the most simple.
Yeah. Now you got Mitch Baumgartner said, we're doing huge things with systems and programs, adapting today's technology. And so technology is huge, but let's boil down what you just said, like just communicating, right?
Yep.
And doing that at a high level. So what's your day-to-day like, Heather?
Well, we prospect in the mornings. And then I got into this business so that I could try to be home as much as possible. So I work at home a lot, and prospect and show houses, follow up on current deals. And then we do have follow-up boss, which is something that's been really helpful. That also has other technologies that are built into it that help us connect with our clients in the background so that we can connect with everybody at a high level. So being able to do all those things in one day because of all the systems we have is huge. And I think that's really what's making our team it's going to be the biggest team in Indiana.
I love it. I love it. We're talking some smack. I love it. This is great stuff. Oh man, this is great stuff. And so, but the funny thing is now, Geoff, I'll put this back to you. Like, so the follow-ups, what are you guys doing inside of that? Is it just like systems, and is it follow-up? Is it drip campaigns, or is it all of it?
Well, it's all of it, and that's where like we're all provided. Well, EXP just did the choose your own CRM, and now they have KV Core, Lofty, and whatever the other one is. Follow Up Boss isn't one of them, and I think that's because Follow Up Boss is such a high level, but it's not harder. Like, we were really plugging into KV Core. I was paying people to show us how to use KV Core to make sure, because if you're not using your CRM right, you can't compete with an agent that is. And so like we were trying, and then we found Follow Up Boss because with EXP we get to network with high individuals like large teams, Justin Haver, all those guys. And I talked to them and they're all using Follow Up Boss. So I was like, okay, we got to use it too. And within Follow Up Boss, it's not even just like we can put them on drip campaigns. It is that it's so connected to like Zillow, our lenders, our TCs. Everybody is within Follow Up Boss. So whenever we're talking to a lead, the lender sees it, the TC sees it. As we're doing a deal, everybody's just right on their feed, and it's like impossible to not have accountability because we see when they, if they text us saying, "Hey, the lender hasn't got back to me in 2 days," guess who saw that text? The lender. Like, so it does have the drip campaigns and stuff like that, but that's really the smallest part of it that we use. It's more of the actually seeing the leads come in when you're buying leads, and then your call time, and you can actually see accountability within the team. We always look at the leaderboard and see who's on the top of the leaderboard. That's based off of your actions within FUB, and so that's really driven the team to connect and be responsive to clients and agents and everybody.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I use Follow Up Boss too, and the thing is, I want people to understand like what Geoff's talking about. Like, there's a lot that goes on the front end of that, right? Like and now and as far as adding people in, adding your lenders in, you're connecting your Zillow. So that's the biggest key to me when you're talking about CRMs. And it's the other one is Bold Trail. It's not KV Core anymore. It's Bold Trail. Yeah, and Bold Trail, like I'm looking into that too, because in Bold Trail, it's incredible. Like so far, what I've seen, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. But the most important thing is taking time to make sure that your CRM's running correctly, right?
Yep. It's like Phil Stringer says, like AI is not going to replace your job, but an agent using AI will. Same thing, like a CRM doesn't make your job easier or take your job, but an agent that's actively and proficiently using a CRM will take your job.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly it. And Heather, what have you seen? So on the AI thing, right? How much has that impacted your business now?
I mean, obviously it's built into FUB, so it really helps a lot. It makes it really what it does is it streamlines almost every process. It makes it quicker and easier to contact everybody. Like I said, communicating with people and calling people back and texting them is the easiest and most important thing. And using something like this as our system makes it easy to contact everybody in a shorter amount of time. And then also I use like ChatGPT or Otter AI, those things that just to help me with like note taking and make bullet points and tasks and a spreadsheet for what I need to do for the week. So that really helps a lot too.
Yeah, and it is. It's crazy. I've really gone into this ChatGPT AI black hole for a couple days, and actually it's been longer than that now. Where I do it at night. Right. So then my daytime is working, right? It's productivity time. But one of the things that I really delve into, and I'll have to share some stuff with you guys too, but is like you said, it's building out your calendar. It's literally built out my calendar for me, right? Like it's helped me build out my calendar, what I should be doing, when I should be doing it, based on what I put in, the numbers that I want to hit. I'm like, what is going on with this thing?
Yeah, we use AI at a very high level. We're like with ChatGPT, you can pay for the pro version as $20 a month, and like it's the cheapest, most beneficial thing probably for your business. I created even an AI assistant. Like you can create your own assistants within AI now, and so I have one, and I think it's called like Team Commander, or something like that. But it's constantly telling us what we can do, what we should be doing, how to track certain metrics. And then we all at EXP get Fixer now. I don't know if you saw that one that Glenn put out.
I love it.
Oh, it's amazing. That one's phenomenal.
Yeah, if you guys don't know the Fixer.ai, you maybe I'm dropping some knowledge. We're dropping some the bombs this morning of what you guys don't know. But if you haven't gotten Fixer AI, it has cleaned up my email, and just the auto responses that you just go in and hit, you read it and just go good, send it, right? And man, like it is incredible.
I think one of the best features of it is where when somebody asks you for an appointment, it's synced to your Google Calendar as well. And it will have an auto response saying like, I'm available Monday at 2, Tuesday at 9, and it will go through your calendar to see your open windows and already have that response back to them. That, or like a little link, like, hey, here's my little, and it makes nice little features. Here's when I'm available. Click which one you want to book. Like,
yeah. It's wild.
Real.
Yeah. And then so if you sync it with Zoom as well, right? If you've done that. So when I do a Zoom meeting and it's through my Google Calendar, when the Zoom meeting's over with, it creates an email if there's action items that need to be done for each person, and then it creates an email, and then I just have to hit send, and it sends the email out to who was just on the Zoom with me.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I know Otter AI does that as well.
Yeah, I'm like, what? This is the greatest, because what's the hardest thing we do, right? When we meet, even with if it's a client or if it's another agent or whatever we're doing, because we're on Zoom so much or we're on technology like this so much that that the hard part is what's the follow up to that, right? Like because we have action items, and then it used to just be like, yeah, are you doing that thing or am I doing that thing? Like, who's supposed to do the thing when we're done? It's like no one knows.
Yeah, I even use it when like I'll use AI note taking when I meet clients, walkthroughs for their house that they want to sell, because it's always better to be engaged with them. I let them know I'm taking notes because they want to know that I'm taking notes, but I'm doing it on an AI platform so that I can be more engaged with them, talk about the house. And then when I'm back home, I can go through and see everything. Oh, what was was the water heater gas? What did they say about how old the furnace was? So it makes it a little bit easier and a better experience. I think they get a better experience with it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's probably the next thing. So I was actually with Kurt yesterday, and he has this new thing that it's like a dot. It's not very big, and it does the same thing. So you just lay it on the table, and it takes notes for you, right? And then you can just download it, and it takes. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to find the name of it, but yeah, like it is the technology thing is. Again, I was talking to Geoff before we jumped on, and I'm 52. So like all this for me, it's like every day is like a brand. I'm like, wow, this is the cool thing. But if you don't adapt to it, right? That's the thing. If you don't adapt to it and start using it, that's when you get left behind. That's when you get in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to make people so productive. And obviously our clients are going to have better experience. So they're going to want to use those agents that are using and utilizing all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so where do you guys see the next year for the Cavender team? Where are we going in the next year? What's it going to look like? If we say June 13th, 2026, and you guys are back on, what are we talking about?
Well, I mean, my goal for this year was 20 agents, and we hit that by June. So I think we have to expand that probably to 30. And then by June of next year, I'm thinking 40 agents. And that should be around 100 million in volume. Or really by the end of this year, we'll be at around the 30 agent mark now, and that should be 100 million. So yeah, if we make it up to 40 million, it should be even more.
Heather?
I agree with Geoff. And I think, obviously every year my goal gets larger. Because of all the systems, training processes that we have, and it makes it capable for me to do that. And what's great is, if I have some people that are in Missouri. If I wanted somebody to sign on to our team or, be an extension, well, with EXP, we have the option to have 2 people now to be your sponsor.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to have somebody in Missouri be on our team, or have some of be under me, but on somebody else's team in Missouri, and have some of the training aspects, everything we do is also online. So you can go into the office or you can be virtual, which is great. So it really works for everybody, which is going to be able to make us appeal and work for everybody's needs. Because people like me who might have kids at home, a household they have to also run with their business, it makes it easier for me to be on the team than if I had to go in every day.
Yeah, that's huge. And Geoff, you and I talked earlier in the week, and you have some family things going on. So it's like, but you're still able to do all the things because of the technology.
Yeah. And I told you we onboarded 5 agents last week. And it's a range from, I think the youngest guy's probably 26, 25, up to a couple in their 50s. And they all have like the same experience. It was the one, they had joined another brokerage right when they got licensed and then found EXP. One of my agents was who they reached out to. So I sat down and did the whole meeting with them. By the end of that meeting, they said, they were like, honestly, we don't even care about EXP. We just really like you and want what you have. And then after their first week with me, they said, hey, at our last brokerage that we were at, it was like trying to drink water from an eyedropper. And with you, it's like coming from a fire hose. And it's like just so much value, and we can tell that you're invested in getting us to do better and do our goals. And I said, I've created this whole thing to make your job as easy as possible, to focus on the high dollar producing task, which is what Chevron taught us. I've eliminated the rest of it for my whole team, and then I just provide the funnels. And so I've created that at a very high level to where we can sustain 40, 50 agents based off of, we have like 200 something leads coming in every single month. And then I have the systems that take it from, as the leads come in, we have AI that's nurturing them right away as all of our personal assistants. And then all you got to do is actually show up, meet them, show them a house, and then my team will take it the rest of the way. So again, it goes back to, for the agents that are listening now, or the agents that are listening later, or the team leaders or whoever, it's about the systems, but setting up the system, right? Like that's the key, is setting it up at the beginning. And then again, how often are you both going in and just checking and making sure everything's running right?
I think Geoff's in there all the time. I don't think he's not in there. Like, he's in there constantly.
Yeah. I've gotten to where I can step back from the business a little bit. So I won't be doing 20 million in sales anymore like I normally do. But I'm in there, but that's also part of what I pay for, is just people to be in our systems, monitoring our systems, and making sure all that's working as well.
Yeah.
It was hard to set up. So.
Yeah. It's very hard to set up. And like you said, again, and then the other thing is too, you both talked about coaching, right? And how big has that been for both of you in this business?
Huge. I mean, I also did a lot of coaching with Austin, and then other coaching outside of Austin as well. Coaching it's always important to be leveling up, really. And that's the only way you're going to do it, is to have somebody else that's been there and done that coach you through and show you how to get there.
Yeah.
And I was with Austin. I was with a Jared James coach, and then Chevron, and now Chef Black. So
yeah, and those you Geoff, you've been with some pretty intense coaches.
Yeah,
those guys don't mess around.
No. I mean, if you listen to some of our calls, like with Austin, my team would be like, dude, how does he talk to you like that? That's your coach. You're paying for that. And I was like, you don't understand who I am, because I needed that. Like I didn't need a coach that was really nice and paddled around. And when we met next week and he was like, oh, you haven't done anything we talked about. I needed somebody that would light a fire under my ass and talk to me the way Austin would. And it grew my business exponentially. And then, when I got to there, I was starting to form my teams different than what his team was like. And mine was more like Justin Havers, Brandon Brittingham's, and theirs. And then I found that they all got coached by Chef Black. So then I went to Sheplack, and now they're specialist in Follow-Up Boss and Google Leads and scripting. And so that just was, my team had evolved into something different, and I needed somebody different. And now with them, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very intense. And I know John very well. And I know how intense John is. So it's no joke, man. It's good stuff, but it's great. I mean, that's again, that's what we need for the most part, and how important it is, no matter where you're at in this. Again, for those who are listening now, or for those that are listening later, it is important to have that coach, that accountability person, that person that can say, hey, get your ass out of bed today and go get some stuff done. Right. Like that's the thing we miss in this business so much, is that we don't have that person. Right. By choice. Right. We don't have that boss per se. Right. Because we're our own boss, but that's where the difficulty therein lies with our business. So, we've got a bunch of comments coming in here on Mitch. Heather said, Heather, is the huge thing with Follow-Up Boss. When turning in a deal, we can look through FUB, to see something that is exactly in the paperwork. So it is. Again, it goes back to the systems and the processes. Oh, Mitch is a typing madman over here.
He's our assistant, though, so you can just you don't have to show off this.
Oh, he loves it though. But yeah, he did say one of the things that he did say, and I want to put this one up there. He said Geoff is in there when you don't think he is. So Geoff's always watching, guys. So pay attention. If you're on the Cavender team, Geoff's there.
Well, and I would say that that's where there's such a huge difference between an agent and an entrepreneur. Like, just because you're a real estate agent and you're your own boss, whatever, you're not an entrepreneur. There's a big difference between us in the industry, and you can see that. But then there's even a much larger difference from when you go from, 2 or 3 agents together and 20, 30 deals a year to, we did like 212 deals last year. We'll probably do 300 this year. There is the entrepreneur aspect of it is so crazy, to where like I was losing probably $30,000 a month for like 4 months in a row trying to just set up these systems, which most people would freak out, the moment. My wife even freaked out the moment I told her. I said, hey, we lost $27,000 this month. And she was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, well, we've also made $300,000 in a month. Like, you can't have those kind of highs and not have any lows. But I went through such a big transition and added on these crazy systems that I said, this is going to take me 4 months, 5 months maybe. But when we're through it, I said, I will probably never have a negative month again. Like, if we can just let me get through this. Whereas most people, the moment you lose money, they go into Zillow and they cut their Zillow spend, and they go into, they turn off Follow-Up Boss because it's monthly spending. Whereas I was like, I'll eat that cost and I'll work through it. And if I can work through it and train these agents, then there's just no way we can fail. Like, you get too big to fail, pretty much.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm in those systems a lot. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's important for people to hear what you just said too. And I want to reiterate what you just said. Right. And it is and it's one of the things I learned from Z, right? From Mark Z, was you can't save your way in this business, right? Like, you can't save your way to being successful in this business. You have to spend your way to being successful in this business. And whether that's coaching, systems, processes, like whatever it is, assistants, TCs, like whatever it is, but you have to look at it, kind of, Geoff, what you just said, as this is going to build my business, right? This is another thing. Yes, it is a cost. It is a monthly fee. It is a monthly thing that I am paying. But at the end, I know it's going to grow my business. It's not going to halter it, right? And Heather, on the agent side, how do you see that working out just on the agent side?
I mean, there's so many things available to me that it's kind of crazy, honestly. I have so many different trainings and coaching options at my disposal that I can, if I have nothing to do one evening, I can get on one of our drives and watch something that maybe I missed, or a coaching on how to use one of our systems better. So really, whether you're there in person or not able to make it, I'm always able to connect to whatever the team is doing and to get the training that I need to move forward and to better my business. And I just feel that I've been at three different brokerages. And I've never had this experience, not at any of them. And I've been with independent, small, mom and pop shops, and I've been with large brokerages, which I enjoyed being at all of them, and I learned something in every single one. But I wasn't this successful, and I didn't learn how to streamline my business as much either. And there was really no direction at any of the other teams or brokerages I was in. It was kind of, hey, go do your thing. And I did my thing, and I sold 1 or 2 million a year. It was great, when I did that, and I was happy. But now coming here and doing 6, 10, 12, 14 million a year, and it's been life-changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you brought that up too. And again, I've talked about this, and I've done speaking stuff on stage about it. And I'll go back to this too. One is like finding your tribe, right? And you gotta find your tribe. And once you do that, then you watch your business change, you know, and then, but it's also, and so it also goes back to like who you surround yourself with matters, right? And getting in those rooms, and Geoff brought this up, but I'm going to throw it back to you, like the leveling up of, like you said, when you came over to EXP, like you haven't seen anything like this before, right? Like it's like, wow, like this is incredible, because of the people you get to be around. Am I right?
We've gone to EXPCon the last 2 years, and just the connections I made there and the things that I can learn from all the people that I've met. Also the referrals you get are amazing, but you can just watch them have a connection in Virginia, have a connection in, DC, have a connection in Michigan, see what they're doing and implement those things into my business has been huge, because I'm able to, even if I'm not close to those people, surround myself with those types of people. When before I wasn't. I was kind of whoever was in my local vicinity. That's who I got to be around. But EXP makes it appealing. I've never been at a brokerage either that makes it appealing, and one of the most important things to connect with so many different people. And I think that's huge. I really do. It's really a positive thing, and I don't see a lot of brokerages doing it.
You don't, and I that's one of the biggest things. I think that's why I think we've seen the growth that we have is because of that community that's been built, right?
Yes.
And the idea that it's funny how we've gotten connected because of Austin, right? That's how I got to know Geoff, and then got to know you through Geoff. Like, so it becomes this connection, which is funny because Austin just reached out to us one day, because when we were running Z's team, he wanted to come up to see how we were doing what we were doing with our team and how it was working. And we were like, yeah, come on up. You know what I mean? Like, where in other places that was like, no, stay over there. I'm not sure.
Everybody wants to like keep their trade secrets. They don't want to tell you how they were able to be successful. But when you're able to connect with somebody that's not in your market, they'll share everything.
Yeah. It's incredible, right? I mean, and Geoff, you could probably see that from a team leader standpoint, right? Of you could just call somebody and say, hey, how are you guys doing this? Hold on a second. Let me send it over to you. And it comes over, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was really where, like, when I reached out to Austin, I was the biggest person at RE/MAX in our area, almost in the state. We were third highest in transactions and volume in the state. And it was no, like, you guys can do better. You can do better. It was just an award ceremony where they just gave us trophies. Cost me about $100,000 our last year there. And they weren't, I was like, who do I talk to about going from 100 transactions to 200 transactions? And when I met with Austin and told him, yeah, we did 46 million, with 6 agents. And he was like, yeah, you're pretty much not shit yet. And he's like, are you happy with that? And I said, no, I want to do 80 million. And he's like, yeah, well, you need to get in the rooms to teach you how to do 80 million. And then at EXP, that's what they do. They put the best of the people together. Like, we're in the top 250, so we get to go to those masterminds, and you're learning from all those top individuals. And they're just so open about it. They give you all their playbooks and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get in those rooms, I was in there with our team last year and down there at EXPCon when we got to go into that mastermind early. And you're sitting there with Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle and Tina Call, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's how I felt the whole time in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm just trying to take notes, which that changes back to the AI thing. I need to get one of those AI note takers and just put that out. I'm trying to write stuff down.
We need Kurt to call in and let us know what that is.
Yeah. That's what I used last year at EXPCon to take notes in all the rooms that I went into. It was an note taker.
It's which one was it? Was it
I used Otter AI, but I think I'd like to know which one Kirk's using too.
Yeah.
You can use them on your phone where you just turn it on your phone and but you have to like leave that open. But that's different than what Kurt's talking about.
Yeah.
He should be listening right now. Maybe we'll get him to jump in here a second. But the incredible piece of EXP and what's being created and what's been created and what continues to elevate, I think, is again that community of let's all do this together, right? Let's all put this thing out and let's just help each other. And I think that's been the biggest draw for me was again I want to get into different rooms, right? So they're all good. And if I can get into this room, man, now I'm good. I just need to get in the room, right? I just need the invite in, and then I'm okay. But I just need somebody to get me in. And that's one of the biggest things that we've seen here.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm really good at, and what Austin saw and helped me with was how to get yourself into those rooms. And like if you go to EXPCon with me or whatever, I just tell the agents, I'm like, follow me. Like if I take off, follow me because I'm going somewhere. And like I think Heather and I, we sat and ate lunch with Glenn Sanford, Leo Perea, Brian Ellington. That was our table right there. And by doing that kind of stuff, like I sat next to a guy who was sitting next to Brian Ellington and they talked the entire time. And I knew Brian. So I was like, well, if this guy is holding his attention for an hour-long VIP lunch, like he's got to be somebody. And so right when we were leaving, I just introduced myself. And now I run an agency with him. He runs Rate. His name was Matt Wagner. And now we are on radio. We're on TV. I shot commercials with Barbara Corcoran. And it's all because I put myself in those rooms at that specific table that happened now.
Yeah. I saw that. The Barbara Corcoran thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's gonna call me here in a second. Because I knew he'd jump in. But yeah, the Barbara Corcoran thing, man, and it's getting into the room, making the right connections, and then it goes back to you, right? Because then there's a reason you got invited back in, right? You got invited back in because Amit just said Geoff made Barbara yell at me.
I did. Yeah.
But again, you got invited back because of you, right? Heather, you got invited back because you, right? You're handed the key to the door and you go in, but there's a reason they don't take the key away from you, right? And push you back out. It's because of you and what you're doing with it. And then you both are providing value to that room because that's the only way you get invited back is to provide value.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, kudos to you guys, man, because I'm watching from afar. I'm watching social media, seeing what you guys are all doing, and you're building something phenomenal down there. And it's here's the trick, because people that are either listening now or going to be listening later. Here's the thing: what you're going to hear, both of you are going to hear this. Man, that was an overnight success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, everybody thinks things are easy. I think we think that about a lot of people. And you see that in sports and business, and somebody makes it and you're like, oh, they made it look so easy. You don't see all the stuff they did in the background, all the money they lost, all the failures they had. And they kept going, we keep trying. So that's fine.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, we were orthopedic capital of the world here. And so I was working third shift in a factory. I worked that for about 10 years, but I started real estate and I did real estate, third shift factory for 3 years. And like I was using that real estate money to buy rentals. So I'm working thirds, working a sales job and buying rentals and then being like my own landlord and property manager and all that for 3 years of it. And then I was able to quit. Like COVID came and it got kind of crazy over here. I just left the factory and quit. And everybody was like, oh, you're so lucky that you're able to quit. Like, I was like, lucky you saw me sitting here night after night reading books at my machine, listening to podcasts, listening to people read me books, and people would walk up and say, dude, you're so weird. Like, what is going on here? And then it was, you went from so weird to you're so lucky, and then you're doing so well. Like, yeah, I love the overnight success thing. Cause like, even when I was losing 30 grand a month, social media didn't show that. Like, I didn't show that I was losing that much money. I still kept everything going because I knew I was looking at a year, 2 years down the road. So I wasn't a failing business. I was just going through a phase and a setup. So you just don't see what people go through.
Yeah. And I did sales, I think, for 9 years before I got into real estate. So it's been a progression. And I feel like everything I've done has just led me to this point.
Well, I just got a phone call, guys. Mr. Kurt Shewell just gave me a phone call. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Jimmy. Love the show. Long time listener, many time caller.
Well, I've got Geoff Cavender and Heather Sanders on from Indiana, and
that's why the show's so damn good. I mean, you bring in all the superstars from all over the place, and we got Indy in the house. I love it.
Well, one of the things we were talking about was the AI and how things are changing, and then I was like, well, Kurt has this thing, and I can't remember the name of it. What is the name of that thing?
Okay, so I bought this AI assistant tool called Limitless, and it is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Love this thing. Now, everybody knows me. I am zero on the tech skills. I struggle to open up emails. So this thing is so good. What it does is it just listens to you. So I was in Dallas at the mastermind, the leadership mastermind, and Glenn Sanford had one. And he's walking around, it's around his neck. And he's wearing it like a necklace. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. And Glenn always has the coolest little techie things. He was like one of the first ones that had that ring that tells you, everything about your body and your blood pressures and all your stuff. And then how you sleep and everything like that. And he always has the coolest gadgets. Well, he's very techie. He's into that. So he had this around his neck. And I saw it, and I didn't say nothing, but I saw it. And then I was sitting next to Justin Havrin, one of the top agents and teams, in the world. He's out of Canada, and he dominates, right? He was the number one team in all of Canada. He was the number one Remax team in the entire world. And this guy's a big-time player. And I'm sitting next to him, and I look over, and I'm like, what is that? And it looks similar to what Glenn had around his neck. Well, it was, because you can just set it on the table. You can set it and plug it in your computer and keep it running so it juices it up all the time. You can have it around your neck. And I'm like, okay, that's the same thing. He's like, yeah, Glenn's got one too. I'm like, no kidding. That's what he's wearing. All right, tell me about it. And he goes, well, it's listening to us right now. I said, right now? He says, yeah. He said, if I say your name, it'll know who you are. I'm like, come on, seriously? He's like, yeah. So I jokingly said my name, and he said, yeah, I don't have to take notes. It's my note taker. I said, what do you mean it's your note taker? He says, well, because you're sitting there writing notes down and taking pictures of slides and what people are putting up on the screens and stuff like that. He goes, I just sit here with it on my computer. I turn my camera on my computer, so the computer's recording the screen, and it's listening to everything that's being said. I don't have to write a single note down. I can literally pay attention and be locked into what they're saying and really listen and go, wow, that's amazing. And if I make a comment or two about something when it's happening, it'll pick it up and it'll know. At the end of each speaker, when they're done, I'm like, yeah. He said, it automatically puts everything in. I can say transcribe, what the last speaker said, or I can say, just put that in bullets. It automatically does. It automatically puts it in sections. So it'll say, Speaker Jimmy Nelson was talking on his, incredible podcast, the Elite Podcast, and he was talking about this, and this. Had guest speakers, people from Indiana. If it doesn't know your name or you didn't say the name, it won't. But if it says, I have Cavalier on here and he's a beast and he's talking about this, and this, and then Jimmy and him discussed this and this, and they went in depth on, this topic or that topic. They talked about this for 12 minutes and here's what they talked about. And if I want to go deeper, I can just take it and all I have to do is highlight the piece I want because it puts it on my phone, or I can send it on my computer. And then what it does is it takes it and you can take it and I can say, okay, I want this information more dissected to just this, or just pull this out. Or there was a caller that called in, this Kurt Shewell guy called in, and it'll say Kurt Shewell called in on the show and spoke about this, and this, and talked about Limitless and talked about the functions and the features of it. He listed out this, and this. Jimmy asked this and this question. Kurt talked about this, and this. And I can say, okay, write those answers out and put it into something that I would use as a presentation. And it'll turn around and go, okay. And then within, 15, 20, 30 seconds, it'll go, takes the information that you just did, your stuff, your conversation, and it puts it into presentation form. And then I say, okay, I like this, but add in more information that you have about this from the internet. And it'll say, okay, boom. And then it'll add in more pieces. Then I can say, okay, integrate the two, but put it into the terms of how I speak and how I would explain it, not the way that it says on the computer or on the internet. And then it'll say, okay. And then a minute later, it's boom, here you go. And then I can say, okay, now I want to really give a class on this and I want it to be really informative and I want to put it on a podcast talking to Jimmy and I've only got 3 minutes. And it'll say, okay. And then it'll put it to where I can do it in 3 minutes. It's amazing.
This part of the show brought to you by Limitless.
Yeah, I think I just became a sponsor of the show. Limitless. Now, for a guy like me that doesn't know how to do any of this stuff, I can do that. That's not hard. That's actually really easy because it does it for me. And then I'll say to it, what should I do with this information? And it'll turn around and say, well, if you want to explain it to someone else, it's here. If you just want it for yourself, or I'll say, hey, these are great notes and facts. What I want is just the facts. Let's say a speaker's talk, like Mike Del Prete. He was talking at our conference in Dallas. So remember, Justin's his Limitless was recording, was listening to the whole thing. So I say recording, I guess it's technically recording, technically not, but he was listening to our whole thing. Well, I said, wait a minute, you got all this? He's just laughing at me. He's like, yeah, it's right here. I'm like, no way, this is amazing. I don't have to write all this. I'm taking pictures of every screen. I'm taking pictures of this charts. And then he's like, okay, this is a part that I really don't want you guys taking any pictures of because I speak at all real estate conferences. And I like to be, fair to everybody, same as you guys. So I'm going to show you some stuff that you guys really need to know. He goes, but please put all your cameras down and do not take pictures of this. He goes, you can listen to this. You can write your notes. Do not take pictures of this stuff and create your own. So everybody put their cameras down. Well, Justin's, Limitless is still listening to it. So we don't even have to take our notes or try to scratch it down. Well, he's showing these slides and he's talking about these things and explaining them. And there were some serious facts of like, holy smokes, of what's going on in the industry and what you can see that's coming. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, this is really bad news for a few of these brokerages. And there's a few of these new cloud ones. They're going to be in a little bit of trouble. There's these, franchises that we already know are going out of business. These ones are already sold. Take a look at what's happening. Pay attention to this, this, and this. And then you're like, holy smokes. So it was a lot of great information. And this is stuff that we need to share. This is stuff we need to talk about. This is stuff we need to know. So after it was done, I'm like, Justin's like, I got you. So then all it did was when it was done, it said, okay, boom. Speaker Leo, when he talked, here it is. Speaker Glenn, when he talked, here it is. Speaker Michael Prey, when he spoke, here it is. And it takes it and it just bullet points it all out for you in order. So then he says, here you go. And I said, what are you going to do with it? He goes, I'm going to take it right here. I'm going to copy it into this. He goes, I'm going to tell it to put this into facts that I need to know about cloud companies and then or cloud real estate brokerages. And then it did. And then he says, okay, take this information and put it in. If I'm just talking about franchise models. And then he specifically said, if I'm talking about this brokerage, this one, put them in separate ones for these of all the information of how it would be good for that company and how it would be bad for that company. And then how it would be good for me to know or agents that are there, why it would be better for them to talk to me or why would they be better staying where they're at. And it literally tells you. And I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So then I used that immediately with agents that I was talking to already that I've had conversations with. And I literally took this where it said the best points. And I said, is this why you're still there? Because of this, and this. And they're like, well, yeah, actually it is. Yeah, because that's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty much. Well, yeah. I said, okay, do you know about this, and this? And every one of them said no. I said, are you familiar with what's happening with this and that? And they said, no. I said, okay, are you looking what's happening here? No. Do you know that your company, is sold, but here's the deal and here's what's happening? They're like, no, they don't tell us any of that. I go, okay, this is just public information. This is stuff that the stock market is using. This is the stuff that's being talked about on all these news channels and news networks at 3 a.m. that you don't know about. Here's the information.
Crazy stuff. And then now you have to do something with it, right? That's what we were talking about, getting back into your systems. But yes.
Yeah.
So
knowledge is power only if you use it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you jumping in and telling us about Limitless. That was one of the things we were looking for.
Yeah. So that's why I used it. That's why I applied it. Great. Always. Hey, thanks for letting me chime in for a sec. And love you guys. Go back to where you were. Love the show as always. You guys are killing it. Thanks for sharing all the information from Indy. Appreciate you guys. You guys are ballers. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thanks, brother. Yeah. So that was so Limitless.
Yeah. My assistant that was listening already sent me the link for it and everything. So.
So I do need to call Limitless myself and be like, hey, wait a minute. Like, if we're going to start selling these things like that, maybe we need some royalties over here, or just give me a free one. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm cheap. I'm not easy. But then it again, and I want to go back to you guys with your systems and stuff too, right? Because we can gather all this information, right? We can get all this stuff. We can take notes. We can do all the things. But at the end of the day, it's about putting it into action. And where do you guys see that again? How is this? What's been the biggest thing for you guys in your business about putting it into action? Like what's been the biggest thing you've put in? Follow Up Boss we talked about. Outside of your CRM, what's been the biggest thing for your business?
Well, that's what Sheplak says. What makes him the difference is that when he goes to those events, he takes his notes and he immediately puts it into action. And so that's what we try to do by going to, EXPCon, going up to Detroit, meeting with you guys. We try to gather in as much of that as possible, give it all back to the team because, only maybe 5 of us go to EXPCon. So I actually had all of us take notes and then we all gave presentations to the rest of the team about what we learned at EXPCon. But it is those things where we just constantly have trainings again. So it's ChatGPT. So then I'm having a whole training on it and I'm walking all these agents through 20 years old, 50 years old, whatever. And I'm like, this is how I'm using it. This is how you need to be using it. And then when they come to me and they ask me a question, I'm like, well, what did ChatGPT say about it? I don't know. I said, well, ask them first. Like ask the team, ask ChatGPT, then ask me. And so that I kind of just implement things that way too is, well, did you do it on Follow Up Boss? No, I didn't look there yet. Well, like go through the channels, like stop going right to me, go through all the systems I provided for you. But I think that's how we take the action and the accountability for it.
I love that. And one of the things you said too, I think is very interesting. And I hope people heard what you said. The one thing that I thought very interesting, because not everybody went to EXPCon, but those that did, then when you got back, you guys did a little presentation. What each one of you took away from EXPCon, I think is very cool.
Yeah, and we kind of had it strategic too. Like when we went there, like Kyle went with us and we said, hey, you go and learn everything about AI so that we don't all have to go to those AI trainings. Like you're going to do AI. I was going and meeting, trying to get as close to Leo and Glenn and those guys as possible. Heather and Nikki had their own things to kind of go and focus on, like what you wanted to focus on. But like if Heather was going to do listing stuff, we didn't want Nikki there too, because we're all going to bring it back.
Yeah. So I think she did buyers, a bunch of buyer stuff that she did. I did listings and sellers. And so you're really able to, when you have a plan beforehand, instead of just going in and going, who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, right. I mean, it's still fun. We always have fun, but at the same time, to be a little strategic about it made it that much better and more worthwhile for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I look, that I can't stress that enough about going to, whether it's EXPCon or whether it's whatever event or thing you're going to, is go in with a plan, right? And what you want to learn, and be very intentional. So and I've learned this throughout the years too, right? So being very intentional about going to EXPCon, like even the nice part is you get the thing ahead of time. You can map out what your days are, what speakers you want to go see, what rooms you want to be in. Right. And you can map that all out. And so, but again, get very specific with it. But then I think one of the things that you guys are talking about too, and I think this is the most important thing that all agents can listen to. And whether you're a real estate agent or an insurance agent or a doctor or a lawyer, whatever it is, right? Because we all go to conferences. But would you guys agree that coming back and implementing, because you can't implement all of it, right? It can't, because it's like your point, drinking through the fire hose, right? It's like, oh, I got all this info. But boiling it down, how many things do you guys try to implement right away when you come back?
That's a tough one. I think again, you try to, you take the notes and stuff. You try to. I think this is where like the AI would come in. Now that we have all those things, I would come in and I don't know Kurt's AI part, but when you pay for ChatGPT, it actually remembers you, so it knows my whole business. So I could come in, plug all those notes back into it, and then just ask it realistically which of these would impact my business the most. Which ones would I actually follow through with? Because it will know, like, if you don't follow through with what you say you're going to do. So I think that would be this next year. We'll probably all have Limitless with us. We'll go there, and then I will ask ChatGPT, what would be the top 5 biggest impact on my company and my team, and then those would be the ones that. And I would say now make me an action plan of setting those into my business.
I think it goes from like you would go to a conference and you go and get maybe before it would be you'd get like 2 or 3 nuggets that you would take home that you could really realistically implement. Now with the AI helping us, we could probably bring back 10 to 20 and be able to share that with our team. And, depending on where everybody's at in their business, they could decide which things they want to implement.
Yeah. And again, the important part about going to any of these things is implementing stuff when you get back. But I always say, like, break 2 to 3 things, right? Because you're going to go learn 10, and if you try to do all 10, you're going to fumble all 10, right? If you try to do 2 or 3, you can implement 2 or 3 things. And I think, again, we've talked about tools on this a lot, and using the tools that you have available to you is absolutely incredible. And if you're not using the tools that are there and available, and again, if you don't have the $20 a month to pay ChatGPT right now, it is still free. Mm-hmm. There is a free version of it still that you can just still use for free. So
if you use it enough, it will remember you. If you use it daily, even the free one, it remembers who you are. It'll add, the same stuff. So yeah, it's better than nothing. And I think that's huge. Austin used to teach us a lot in his personal life too, and business. I think the AI is helping us be able to take back a little bit of our personal life. Because it's making our business more efficient.
Yeah. And I've gone away from saying work-life balance because there is no such thing.
No, nope.
It's a work-life blend.
Yes.
You can blend the 2 things, right? My son was with me yesterday. My 14-year-old was with me yesterday. I had some meetings out in Novi, which is like 45 minutes from my house. And then he had basketball right after I was going to be done with these meetings. Well, I wasn't, which was close to the 45 minutes I had to drive. So I wasn't going to drive the 45 minutes, drive 45 minutes back, drive 45 minutes back, drive 45. You know what I mean? So I'm like, sorry, buddy, you just got to roll with me today. Like, you get lunch out of it. You can hang out at the office, right? They had chocolate covered almonds. He was good, right? So he was like fine with it. But we blended yesterday, right? Because but that's one of the things that we're capable of doing in this business. So we've got about 2 minutes left. And I'm going to go, Heather, let's go ladies first. You're a new agent starting today. Right? Brand new. Knowing what you know now, though, right? Knowing what you know now. How are you getting into real estate?
I mean, I would jump into all the systems, using from the start, using your CRM every day and really putting everything in there so you don't have to go back and do it again. And then utilizing all the leads you possibly can. And then following and having a mentor that would be, kind of 5 steps ahead of where you're wanting to be and really doing everything they say.
Love that. Geoff, same question, my man.
Yeah, my thing for a new agent always is to join a team, but like that's kind of what Heather said. So I would say I would use ChatGPT and I would create social media and I would blast out social media more than anybody's ever seen. And it can suck. It can look terrible, but visibility trumps ability always. So if they see you more, they'll use you. So even if you're brand new, you're posted. I always tell my brand new agents that come to the team, I said, you never lead with, hey, you're my first client or nothing. I say, we leverage it. So we sell 40 million, we sell 100 million. We've sold a $3 million home. Like, leverage the people around you and act like the professional you want to become.
Love it. Well, Geoff Cavender, Heather Sanders, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning And I appreciate it. We'll have to get you guys back on because this hour goes faster than you think it does. And it's pretty incredible. But I appreciate you guys jumping on here early with me this morning, sharing all your success and all the things that are going live from KGCI Radio and YouTube and Facebook. Where can they find the Cavender team?
Social media, Google.
Got it. All right, guys. We appreciate you again this morning. The Elite Real Estate Podcast. Join us next Friday. In class, they'll use just a stone, not a wall we can't pass. Embrace the unknown, let your